some good news. Let's talk about the TikTok video that has how many views, Hillary?
2.6 million. What? I don't even know how.
So who's introing this?
I mean, I just wanted to talk about what I like. I guess what I find the most interesting about it is that it's just like me, a black person, co-signing a white person explaining braids to white
Let's give
people.
some context. Okay, yeah, to the people who haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, so it's a video of a white girl with like orange, quite afro-y hair, who's claiming that in another video she was asked about braids and cultural appropriation, and she's basically explaining that with her hair texture in the past she did do box braids, that she was given like permission from black sisters to wear that hairstyle, but that once understanding and having more familial context and taking into consideration who would be perceiving her with that hairstyle, she chose to go against it. Her own video, I think, has about the same amount of views. To like it when we were at 2 million, it was at like 2.2. It wasn't that much more ahead of us. And yeah, it's just her basically explaining why she thinks that white people wearing braids is cultural appropriation. So all I did was duet that video saying that I completely agree with her. And the comments have ranged from people being like, it's just hair, wear your hair how you want, to people completely understanding, people asking literal questions about how to style their hair if this hairstyle is not an option. And then there's like a few that I've responded to that also have like tens of thousands of views, like probably 100,000 views with the 3 videos I've responded with. Explaining like my personal opinions on that thing. But again, it's an opinion and everyone can do their hair how they want. I will not be knocking on doors with like buzzers ready to shave off any box braids I see on anyone that looks white. There are white passing black people. People can do what they want. I personally believe it's cultural appropriation, but that's my hot take on that.
Now, I actually had to talk to somebody that knows about women's hair because I have no idea. I had no idea about it, and I had to talk to them. And what they told me was this: it is the style of hair of braids, because there's different styles of braids. I didn't know there was different styles of braids. Now, if it's I didn't know that your hair could get just braided by not depending on the type of hair, you could just get braided naturally. I don't know how that works, but it's for example, Jamaicans have a style of braiding and Africans have a style of braiding, that they have a certain style that it's braided as. Now, if you're using those styles, it could be kind of cultural because that's actually how they do it.
Yeah.
But she said that there are other styles of braiding that doesn't
That's
necessarily have
okay.
to do it.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
Anything
Yeah,
to
there's
do
like
with that.
regular, there's a regular like 3-part braid that I think like every little girl wants when they're a kid, or like what you imagine like a Rapunzel like 1, 2, 3 braid. But like even like you said, like women's hairstyle, like my brother goes and gets his afro braided in like boxes. It's just that it doesn't add the like extensions of fake hair to make it long like I do, but he still gets his braided in like a box, almost like ASAP Rocky style. That's different than like what I do, which is like knotting synthetic hair around mine to make the braid so that it's a different color and it's a different length and it's like extensions. But and like a lot of people have put different facts. I definitely don't have all the facts. A lot of people feel it's cultural appropriation because allegedly slaves would actually hide food like rice and things in their braids to smuggle either when fleeing or to be able to eat more later to have sustenance. There a lot of white people have responded by saying that Vikings have a similar thing in their culture called fairy locks, which I've looked up, and the difference is it's braiding their own natural hair and not taking another synthetic material or a different material, and it's not in the box form. And so it's like you're saying, Fidel, it's those specific styles that in my opinion would be considered cultural appropriation. Like having a braid is not a cultural appropriation to me. It's the actual like box style or locks, because it's supposed to protect our specific hair type from the elements, from nature, from whatever. So to me, that's the whole point. I also just find it interesting that this video blew up because it's like more evidence to me that white people prefer to hear about these things from white people, because it took her, a white person, sort of explaining this for a lot of people. It seems like for a lot of people to be like, oh, I finally get it. And it's like, I feel like everyone's been saying the same thing. I don't know how differently she said it.
I found that
Then
weird as well because I mean, you post duets all the time, Hillary,
Yeah.
and they're normally duets of Black men or women saying really profound, influential, and interesting social things.
Mm-hmm.
And while all your videos get, whether it's hundreds or tens of thousands of views, it's amazing that people are watching and taking the stuff in and commenting. But then this video, and then over the time there was more and more likes, but then boom, one day a white girl with poofy orange afro-y hair, you make a duet with her and it goes viral. I think you said earlier that they were on par with the same amount of views, but no, when it first happened, your video had like twice the amount of views of her original video, and maybe that one's catching up now. But
Oh.
it speaks to the people that are watching it. But I also get really curious about like TikTok's AI and robots and what it maybe automatically decides or gets reviewed by people. I think there's some kind of strategy within that company, a combination of AI and people
Mm-hmm.
deciding what they're going to propel forward and let get seen. I've seen so much drama on TikTok about how people feeling that TikTok censors Black creators, how there's words you can't
Mm-hmm.
even say on TikTok. You can say words that affirm white power and white supremacy and stuff like that, but if you start mixing the word Black with anything that has to do with social or change or this, that, or the other, TikTok literally will not even let you make the post.
Yeah.
So this, first off, this is, we're all so excited, and this is such an amazing thing that you've
Mm-hmm.
done, because people will post thousands of posts and nothing will ever go viral. So you took that channel and you did something, but however it happened, you, the excitement that we've all had for weeks has been amazing. But when we stop to analyze why this one video, we get some pretty interesting questions.
Well, and I will say that, like, so for instance, what you just said about like them censoring the word Black, someone, a TikTok creator, screen recorded him adding different words about being Black in
Yep.
his bio that weren't allowed, but when he used anti-Semitic, it was allowed. Like different, like actual hateful things, but from a white person standpoint, were allowed to be put in, but not just like simply adding the word like Black, which is bananas. But that rumor also used to exist too about YouTube videos, and if there was a Black person in the thumbnail, that those didn't have as much traction as if there was no one in the thumbnail or if there was a white person in the thumbnail. But I find that all of our content around braids, it's like the one thing that gets white people the most heated. Like my
You're
blog
right, your
about
blog.
it
Yep.
before the TikTok had so many people in my comments being like, hair is just hair. I don't understand. Why can't, like, at what point is it all just one culture? My real shtick with all of it, my real actual problem is that there are still Black girls who wear box braids and get called dirty. There are still people who feel that box braids are unprofessional. And if Black people would be allowed to do the thing that is supposed to be theirs without facing so much like disdain and so many issues, then I would be much more for everyone else participating in it. But when it becomes a symbol of like, I have enough money to go away from Jamaica and look, here's my kid in braids on the beach. I went away on a trip, but I can't do it and get a job interview and like, or have to feel like that's a genuine concern about my professionalism, even though I have a degree to back up my education. That's where to me it's bullshit.
Yep.
But I think we said this in the podcast before, and there's tons of documentaries. Also, the YouTube thing, it's not an assumption. It was the algorithm, and it
Yes.
was quite correct. And they I think they fixed it. I'm not 100% sure if they did or not. But we said at this time, the system's not made for Black people. The system has never been made for Black people. I mean, I just don't like. There's a documentary in Netflix. I think we talked about this before. I don't remember the name, but that talks about
Social
AI.
dilemma.
Yeah, no, not the social dilemma. It's another one that it talks about AI and
Oh,
people
right.
of color and facial recognition and people of color. And we talked about this before. I don't have the name on it, but
Mhm.
it's on Netflix. And it just shows you that the system as a whole, when you fight racism, and this is what I let people understand, when you are fighting racism, when you think of racism, it's not a person, it's not a thought, it's a system.
Hmm.
System. It's a system that you don't see. It's a system that is just there, and it doesn't give a fuck what you are. You could be a black millionaire. Doesn't give a fuck. Oprah will get checked because she's black, and she's a billionaire. That's
Well, and it's like you sent the article earlier, and I don't know if you wanted us to discuss it or not, but that Facebook's algorithm labels black men as primates. So, like, it's not even getting better.
no, but I don't think it's not getting. It's I think it is getting better, but however, the thing about it is that when you look at systems like buying a home, like if you we've seen that if you buy a home and you put a white person, it gets doubled. We've seen that if your name is not ethnic, you'll get a better job. Like
Yeah.
this is not new. Like this is a system that people of color have been in battling for years. Now if you look at places like Texas, they just put some racist ass law for people not to vote, for black people not to vote. And they don't say it as black people. They're not going to say it for people of color. They're going to put some lingo. That's what they do. That doesn't say black or color or anything. It just says poor or disenfranchised or says nothing at all, but it's targeting that particular person. And that is racism. Racism is like a disease. It's like cancer. We don't see cancer. We don't see depression. We don't see it, but it's there. It's just there. It is undeniably there. And when you look at the braiding thing, like I myself, I had to look up for a person because I was like, I don't understand anything about hair. I have no clue what the hell. I barely I barely cut my hair and stuff. And it they told me like, no, it is the style of hair. It's definitely it's like she said it to me. Imagine a white man from America wearing a dashiki. It's like, wait a minute, this is not. It looks cool. You may think it looks cool, but it doesn't think it is. It's not what you think it is.
I made a YouTube video for our channel today, unbraiding my hair as an opportunity to educate people about the process, because I also just don't think, like, I think that people see it aesthetically, they think it looks pretty, and they do not understand that it literally hurts for the first 2 weeks. It takes 5 hours to take them out. It took 7 hours to put them in. I don't know that the white people know what they're signing up for. It's a lot of work. It is a lot of initial work to have those braids. I think that they all think it looks cool, and it does look cool. And I understand wanting to participate in cultures. I understand being curious. I just wish, like I said, that Black people were able to sport the styles that are supposedly theirs without having so much disdain and like so much struggle about it. And then maybe it would be a lot easier for all of us to just share in the same things.
Look, I will put this as an example. If you look at hip hop is a black art. It was made by black people. It was made for black people. Most of their performers are black, and it was done in that, especially black Americans. Now, if you look, who's the best-selling rapper of all time?
Is it
He's white.
Eminem?
Yep, he's white, and it's like you could see that they again this is a black art. This is a predominantly black art created in the projects by black people, even Latinos, and the best-selling rapper is white. And again, he acknowledges it's a black art and he does that, but you could see how did he appropriate it? Yes, he did, and he admits it. He admits it clearly, but it's the homage that you have to say it, and I think that's the problem. Like personally, I think that's the problem. Like you could do it, but admit that it's not yours, or pay homage to the people that actually did this art. That's what I think. But again, I don't know anything about hair, so it's quite difficult for me to explain how you do that.
You can do it. Of course they can. It's I don't I don't even think it looks that good when someone with light skin does it. That's just a personal thing. It's
It
weird.
looks like
Maybe some people can pull it off. Looks
they
like they just got
exposed so
back from
much.
the Caribbean, like you said. Like they went They were on the beach in the Caribbean and someone braided their
Yeah.
hair. I miss my braids. I used to have braids down here, just like hang down braids. I went years with cornrows, super long. Yeah, there's something about braiding that's nice, and it feels cultural, and it connects. Hair is important to all cultures, and it connects you in a way to your culture, and that's also the thing. Like, we could have a whole other talk about dreadlocks, right? And the appropriation out of Jamaica, the particular style of dreadlocks, and how tightly to Jamaicans, it's actually part of a religion, a devout religion, that if you put your hair like that, you're supposed to be following certain guidelines in a way of life. And then suddenly it became a thing out here too. Like you said, Hillary, braids are very cultural, and they talk. This style of braids goes back to slavery and Underground Railroad and communicating messages and escape and freedom and even food to eat when they were escaping.
Yeah, that is quite. So white people, if you're braiding, I don't know. Again, Hillary's the expert. Congratulations on Hillary, the TikTok video. I don't know what to say to you white people about this shit. I don't.
I mean, all I have to say about it is, like, if you're just educate yourself, maybe sign a petition letting Black women and men sport their hair how they want in job interviews, and go with God and have good intentions. Just have good intentions. It's your head. Do as you choose.